Alright, guys, with Orphan First Kill coming out August 19th, I wanted to revisit the first Orphan from 2009, which I adore this movie. I highly enjoy it. I enjoyed it from the first time I saw it when it released in theaters, and I saw it in theaters. I worked at a movie theater at that time, during that time, and I will never forget just hearing the trailer so many times, all day, every day, before this movie came out, and just being ready to kill somebody. Just from Esther's song, the story of love and everything that she sings a few times in this movie, like that was like a huge part of the trailer. And it infuriated me to no end. Like I almost didn't want to see the movie because of the song. Like it was so annoying to me. But I'm glad I got over that and saw the movie because like I said, I highly enjoy this movie. I didn't write the director's name down, which is very rare for me. I don't know why I forgot that. But I know who's directing Orphan First Kill is William Brent Bell, who did The Boy and The Boy 2, which kind of scares me for this new Orphan film coming out, because The Boy's not that great and The Boy 2 is fucking terrible. So I'm hoping that whoever wrote the story for this and stuff, I think it was the people behind the first Orphan, behind the first movie. So hopefully we get something good, especially as she's like 25 now, right? Isabel Fuhrman, who plays Esther. So they had to like de-age her, I'm guessing, or just use camera tricks and stuff. So I'm really excited to see how they pull that off, because I have not huge expectations for First Kill. But Orphan 2009, we got Vera Farmiga in here, who I adore and love in everything. We have Peter Sarsgaard, which gives a great performance in this. You don't see Peter as much. I haven't seen him in many things in the last few years or so. I mean, we have his brother Bill Sarsgaard, who did play Pennywise in the hit movies and everything, but haven't seen much from Peter. And I think he's a good actor. And of course, Isabel Fuhrman is Esther. So let's dive into this movie. The whole dream sequence in the opening with the stillbirth and everything. Dude, that's so disturbing. That's so heartbreaking and so disturbing. Seeing these people, this couple that is so happy that they're having this third child and everything. And they get into labor, get her into labor, and Kate is just in pain, and then she gets told that her baby's dead and I'm sorry for your loss, and she's freaking out and everything, and she has to carry the baby like dead inside her that she wrote in her diary that we hear from Esther later, and just all of that. And then seeing the baby come out all bloodied and dead and stuff, like, dude, what a fucking gross, heartbreaking, just fucking, I don't know, man. It's just a disturbing beginning to a movie. Like, I don't like dream sequences in movies much, but that's a good one. Like, you at least, it gets out of the way, the whole backstory about her and her stillbirth and stuff with Jessica, and the pain and grief that she had to go through, and John too, obviously, that they had to go through and that they're dealing with and everything, and why they're looking to adopt a child. So it gets all of that exposition out of the way in a disturbing little dream sequence. So, really cool. Could we all agree that Max is one of the cutest fucking kids in a horror movie ever? This kid is so adorable. When I first saw this movie, every time she was on screen, I couldn't stop saying to my girlfriend at the time, like, oh my god, she's so cute. Like, this girl is so adorable, and it sucks that she's deaf and everything. But like, whenever like Esther tries like hurting her or like manipulating her, I just want to jump through that fucking screen, dude, like it's my own daughter, and be like, get the fuck away from her, you sick bitch. Like, oh, she's such an adorable kid, man, in this movie, and she gives a great performance. Like, Max gives a great performance in this movie. Like, she just comes across as just a natural child. Like, it doesn't seem like she's acting at all, and she is, but it doesn't seem like she is at all. Like, and she just comes off so naturally, like just a cute, innocent child that you just want to root for right from the beginning when you meet her. And we meet Daniel too, and he can be a little bit of a brat and stuff, but he's still a good kid and everything. You know, I could see where he's coming from with everything, with getting an adopted sister and everything, and just feeling like the focus isn't on you anymore. The focus is all on Esther, and that, you know, when he's playing Guitar Hero and John, the father, keeps looking back when Daniel's asking him to watch his solo and stuff, and him just saying, oh yeah, great buddy, and just turning back to Esther, like, that's gotta be fucking hard, man, for a kid to grow up with, like, to deal with, like, being a 10, 11-year-old kid, I think he is in this, right? Because Esther's 9, and they mentioned that near the end. And Max is 8, I'm pretty sure, 7 or 8. So they were all like within like 2 years of each other or something like that. So I think he's like 10, 11, Daniel. But that's got to be fucking hard, man. And like, it's not like he can form as close a bond with Esther as Max can, because Max looks up to Esther at the beginning. Like, that's like her new older sister. And since they're sisters and both girls and stuff, like, they can bond a lot closer than Daniel can. And Daniel just doesn't understand the way she dresses and all that stuff, and is just weirded out by her and thinks she's weird and a creep and stuff, which, you know, he's a little bit of a fucking brat, like I said, but like, still, it's got to be hard to deal with, like, for sure. And the whole scene at the beginning with Kate reading Jessica's story to Max is so adorable. What an adorable scene, man. And what a heartbreaking scene. Like, there's a lot of disheartening shit in this movie. Like, there's a lot of sad stuff that happens in this movie. And when did I see it? Yeah, in 2009 when it came out. So my daughter wasn't born. But like, now, since my daughter's been born, the few times I've rewatched this and stuff, it has a like whole different effect on me, this movie. But yeah, there's some sad shit that goes on in this movie. And then we have John and Kate meet Esther, and they immediately, you know, like, are enamored by her and get along with her instantly, have a connection and everything, and just her whole little story with the lions and her cubs that she's painting and everything, and John's blown away, like, you made up that whole story by yourself. Then Kate comes in and meets her, and they both instantly, you know, have a connection with this girl. Then Sister CCH Pounder, which I don't remember her name in the movie, but I just know it's CCH Pounder. Every time I hear that name or see her, I always think of It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, in the episode when they go to hell, when they're on the cruise ship and like they're locked in the lockup room and stuff, and they can't get out, and the ship, it starts to sink, and they think they're gonna die, and they're trying to kill time by doing impressions, and Dee does Barack Obama, and they're like, dude, that is so racist and stereotypical, and he's like, well, I'm a girl, like, he's like, I can't do a guy and stuff, and then she's like, you do a girl, then they're like, all right, do CC Pounder, or CCH Pounder, and he's like, oh, the sassy black chick from The Shield, and I think he gives like a great impression, Dennis, of her. Like, every time I see or hear the name CCH Pounder, I immediately think of that episode now. Like, every time. And then she tells her about the house fire that happened to Esther's former adoptive family and everything, which, I don't know, that kind of comes with a lot of baggage, you would think, that I'd kind of just pass. Like, show me the next one. And then like talks about how she always wears the ribbons and everything, and she's so proper, and that the only time they had an issue with her is trying to take the ribbons off, and which is a clever way. The ribbons and stuff are a clever way of hiding the scars from the straitjacket, and there's a lot of little clever things. Like, I didn't see this twist coming. Like, I'm usually good with twists. I didn't see this coming at all. And I don't think a lot of people did. Like, yeah, it's like a really out there, far-fetched premise and twist. But, like, the disorder exists. Like, I've looked it up. It's something with the pituitary gland when it doesn't have enough chromosomes released or something like that. Something like that. I read this, like, a few days ago when I watched this movie, rewatched it. Like a week ago almost. But it's an actual disorder. So it actually exists. So it's not too crazy out there. but it's still a little out there. But which is what I think made it work so good, and that a lot of people did not see this twist coming, me included. Like, I think it's a great, great twist. It's gotta feel weird though, adopting a child. I don't know. I mean, sure. I mean, there's so many people out there who adopt and love their kid, and their adopted kid more than just as much as the regular kids. So I'm not saying that. It's just got to be weird, like going kid shopping. You know what I mean? Like, just like them going in there and like just looking around at different kids. It's like being in a. It's not like being in a fucking like a puppy fucking shelter and being like, oh, Jessica, which one do you like? I like the brown one. He has a cute bark and stuff. And then like paying for him and taking him home. Like, it ain't like that. Like, this is a fucking child. So like, it's gotta feel weird, man. Like, let me know if anyone adopted in the past, and like, was it strange? Like, it felt weird, like going out and like shopping for a kid, basically, is what you're doing. Like, I think it's a great thing. I think adoption, people who go down that route and, don't want a kid and put their kid up for adoption, or people who can have kids and they adopt, I think it's a beautiful thing. But the act of it, like of doing it, and actually going to orphanages and like looking and trying to pick out your child, just seems strange to me. Like I'd feel so weird doing that. Then like you just pay, I guess, and then they just walk off with Esther, and they're like, all right, thanks, peace. Like, I don't know, just something about the whole adoption process is just fucking weird to me, man. It's gotta feel so weird. But they get home, and what a beautiful house they live in. I love this house. Such a gorgeous house, man. All the establishing shots of the house when they first show it, awesome stuff. I also love how they bring Kate's alcoholism into this and have that factor in later with the growing, like, void growing between Esther and Kate, where John thinks that everything's fine with Esther and has no issues with her and thinks that Kate's the crazy one. And even the psychiatrist thinks that Kate's the crazy one. And just the way that the alcoholism circles back and plays into Esther's plan of trying to get rid of Kate, awesome stuff. And so she was an alcoholic and she was drunk, passed out or something, and Max was playing by the pond in the back, and the ice broke through, and she said, thank God you were there, to John. So I guess John was there and rescued Max while Kate was passed out drunk. That's what I take from it. So she was just passed out drunk, and Max started drowning and stuff, and if John wasn't there, she would have died, which I would have fucking freaked, man. Don't you kill my fucking Max, adorable kid. But it would be a ton of work to keep Esther's act up, right? Like, over all these years, like, it seems like, and it's heavily implied, that after we get the reveal that Esther is really a 33-year-old woman with a rare disorder that makes her, like a dwarf, basically, with proportional dwarfism. And she looks like a child and been passing herself off as a kid or most of her life. And it seems like she's doing this just to seduce the husbands, like her father. So you really can't just like go out and get some old man dick on your own, like as a 33-year-old girl? Like really? Like, you have to go through all this rigmarole of going in and out of adoptive families and orphanages and fucking killing people and all this manipulation and lies and having to act like a kid. Like, what if she gets horny one night? She can't masturbate or anything, because what if fucking the mom walks in and see they're like, what the fuck are you doing? You're 9 years old. Or like, I mean, like, that's just an example, but there's so many things she can't do because she's restricted to acting like a child. So, like, don't you think, like, because they show in the book, in her book that has the Soren Institute written on it, they show multiple pictures of older men that we can only assume are all her past adoptive fathers, which is why I don't know where they're going with this first kill movie, because they're making it sound like this is the last family before the events of the first Orphan of this movie. That she had the house fire and Esther barely escaped. But that couldn't have been her first kill. Because we see all those pictures of older men in her book and shit. So she's been doing this for years. And the guy says that when she couldn't seduce the father, she killed him and the rest of the family and burned the house down. So then she tries seducing John at the end. So it's like that's her whole game plan. Like for all of this, is her end goal is to just get some old dick. It's not hard to get old dick for a young woman. It's not hard to get any dick for a young woman. For a guy, it's considerably harder to get a girl. Girls, you can just go out there, who wants to fuck? And everyone will be like, me, I do. And you can just say, all right, come with me. But like, that's as easy as it is. Come on, any females watching, you have to fucking agree with me. It is much easier for you than it is for men. But like, to go through all the murder and deception and pretend she's a child day in, day out, have to go to school over and over again, fucking boring ass school that you don't want to go to. All of this, just to what? Just to fuck some old guy? You could stand on a corner in a major city. You can have more men in one night than she's probably gotten in her whole life going through all of this craziness for fucking years. I don't want to keep going on about this, but like, it's so much work and effort and motivation to do what she does just for that. Like, unless she just gets her kicks off on like the whole process of her pretending to be a kid and just, I don't know, unless like she gets off on all of that. Like, if she's just psychotic and she likes doing it. But I don't know. That's fucking weird, man. Then when Daniel kills the bird with the paintball, he injures the bird. And, dude, it's a paintball. They're not soft, dude. What the fuck did you think was going to happen? Shooting this bird, like, spot on with a fucking paintball. Of course you're going to fucking hurt it. Or, like, you even kill it, maybe. You hit its neck, like, or something. And then Max and Esther come up and, like, Esther says that you hurt it, you have to put it out of its misery. Like, it'll go to heaven and, like, it'll starve out here. Do you really want to live with that? And, like, he's like, I can't do it. And she just takes the rock and squishes the fucking bird, like, into, like, a bloody paste. Fucking... She is fucking evil, man. What an evil fucking... Like, because when you first see this movie and the way that it's advertised when it was first coming out and stuff, like, the first thing you're thinking is this is just another evil kid, killer kid movie, like The Good Son, or, what the fuck's the movie from the 80s? Killer Birthday? Is that it? With the 3 kids born on Eclipse and they're all psychopathic kids? Bloody Birthday. Yeah, Bloody Birthday, that's right. But, like, in the vein of those, like, thinking that it's just, like, your average creepy killer kid movie. And they do a very good job of keeping that expectation up throughout most of the movie until you get to the reveal at the end. So, really cool how they went about all that. And then I even wrote down Esther's song. Fuck that song. And I love the family dynamic in this movie. Like, they really feel like a family. Like, and that's hard. That's really hard to do and to capture on film. Like a family that actually feels like a real family. Like that you can feel real chemistry between them. That you could feel real love between them. That feelings between them. Emotions. Like playing off of each other and everything. Like it's very hard to do. Especially when you have big name actors and actresses. Like you have Vera Farmiga here. You have fucking Peter Sarsgaard. For them to be able, especially Vera Farmiga, with how big she blew up and stuff after all the great things that she's done. And the Conjuring movies and everything that she's done. Bates Motel, and she's such a phenomenal actress. But like just knowing that that's Vera Farmiga, it's so hard in most movies that have like a major actor or actress and stuff to really get that like family feel from them acting and everything. And I feel like they do a great job in this movie. Both Skarsgård and Farmiga do an excellent job of portraying husband and wife that are in love and went through a great grief-stricken ordeal with losing their kid, and just their little banter back and forth, like when and just the fun that they have and stuff, and the laughter, like it really sells it, like it really does. And then Max and Daniel and stuff, like their little relationship, and Max's relationship with the parents, and like everything, like it feels like an actual family, which, like I said, is hard to do in a horror film, but did very well with that. And then I love when they're in the kitchen and they start to have sex, and like Kate at first is like, no, we can't, and then like she's into it, and then like she bumps his head against his, and he's like, ow, and they start laughing, like little moments like that. Like those are like little cute moments that like anyone who's been in a relationship or been married and stuff like that, like you can relate to those moments. So like it really works well with like what they were trying to capture with this family. And then Esther sees them fucking and stuff, and then the next day she goes up to talk to Esther, Kate, and says to her, like, I gotta talk to you, I want to explain, you know, like, when two people love each other very much, like, they want to show that love, and she's like, yeah, I know, they fuck, and then, like, her mouth is just like, and then, like, she's talking to John and stuff about it, and then she's like, why don't you fucking spend some time with her? He's like, all right, bitch. Fucking, like, just the little moments like that. So awesome. They add so much to the film. Especially because this is a family you want to root for. Like, you don't want Esther hurting these people. So, like, just the fact that they were able to make these people seem so close, and that they actually care about each other, and that they feel like a family, and, like, just was so well done. I can't say it enough. They did such a good job at that. But making you root for them and really care if these people, you know, live or die. That's a hard thing to do too in a movie, in a horror movie especially, to make people care whether the characters live or die, which is, slasher films are a huge example of that, of how hard it is, because so many slasher films, you don't give a fuck about any of these characters. You're at some point, you're just wanting some of these people to get slaughtered. So, like, it's real hard to make characters likable and give them enough character traits and character development in the beginning of the movie to make you able to really relate to them and really care about them, so that when they do get killed, you're fucking distraught over it. Or if you're rooting for them not to get killed, and when they survive, you're so happy that they didn't die. Like, really hard to pull up both of those. And then when Esther, when they get the call that Sister CCH Pounder's coming to check on them and everything, and Esther hears that, and Esther takes the gun out and puts one bullet in it, like Russian roulette, and then she points it at Max, and she's like, you want to play? And she's like, maybe later. Don't you fuck with Max, bitch. Okay, that's so evil. That is so fucking evil, man. Shoving a gun in an 8-year-old's face. Dude, come on. Like, really? Like, she really needed to do that? And then she kills Sister CCH Pounder. Abigail, that's her name. Sister Abigail, right? Or am I thinking of Annabelle Creation? I think it's Abigail. We'll go with Abigail. Sister Abigail. Because CCH Pounder is a mouthful to say. So she kills Sister Abigail. And just the way that Esther manipulates and uses Max is fucking disgusting. And it's infuriating to me. Like, and anybody else who adores the character of Max, but like, just seeing her use her to hide Abigail's body and to get her to stop the car, she says to Max, run out and wave your hands and stuff, and then right when the car's coming, she pushes Max flat out in front of the car. Fucking that tire came like half a fucking foot from her head. Like, that's fucked up, dude. That is such a disturbing scene. Like, so disturbing. And then she has to help Esther. Max has to help Esther get Abigail out of the road, and they're dragging her. And then she falls down the snow hill and everything. And she goes down there and Abigail's still alive, and she takes the hammer and starts just beating and beating and beating her while Max is watching. Like, oh man, I don't know if it's just because I have an 8-year-old daughter who's around that's the same age Max is supposed to be in this movie. So from this rewatch, like, I just kept putting my daughter in that situation and being like, oh, you have no idea what I would do to this fucking 33-year-old child midget dwarf bitch. Like, then when Esther comes in to threaten Daniel, that's a tense fucking scene. When she's talking to him and saying, you saw us up in the treehouse. Like, what else did you see? And he's like, nothing. And he's like, are you lying to me? And like, no, I swear. He's like, you better not find out you're lying. If not, I'll cut off your little hairless prick before you even know what to do with it. Dude, that's some fucking threat, man. Especially at that point that we still think she's just some deranged kid and not a fucking 33-year-old woman. Like, that is some fucked up stuff to say to a kid, man. That's so crazy. And that's a tense scene for that. And then, like, the paintings in her room that we see later on, and when we see, like, twice. We see that her looking at them, and then we see John at the end of the movie. I'm not a painter, but I'd imagine, like, UV light paint would have to be, like, decently expensive compared to, like, regular paint or, like, water paint or something like that. So no one ever noticed these paintings walking in the room, and like they just kept buying her all these. Like, that's a lot of fucking artwork up on that wall, like a ton of painting and stuff. So like, she made that one batch of all that different colored paint last for like all that time. Like, we don't even know how long she's in the house, do we, in this movie? I don't think they mention like how long she's in there, like how long they had Esther in the house. I don't think they mention it. I mean, you could probably go through it and figure it out just by like the weather and stuff like that, but like a lot of it seems to be in the wintertime. So like, I don't know how long she's been in there, but like nobody noticed those paintings. Like, when John notices them later, all he does is walk in the room and then shut the light off, and he sees them. They've not, the mom, the dad, Kate or John, have never walked in the room to say goodnight to Esther, shut the light off, and then saw those paintings on the wall. I find that very hard to believe. But it's from, maybe not, because isn't it from the black light or the UV light in the fish tank right below the wall? So like, maybe when she was trashing her room, she opened up the lid and that had the light shining up on the wall, and all the other times the fish tank cover was closed. That might be it. I just answered my own question, I think. I could be completely fucking wrong on that. You let me know. And then the whole thing with her having to go to a dentist and stuff and asking for her dentist records. And that's another thing. I don't know how she avoided, to all these families she's been involved in and stuff, like never going to the dentist, them never getting her dental records. I don't know how that works. Like, I'm sure she can play the whole little, like, I'm scared, I don't like the dentist and stuff, and we'll reschedule it, but you better go thing a few times. But after a while, it's like, you're going to a fucking dentist. So I don't know how she's been pulling that off for like all these years that she's been doing this. And then when she gives Kate the plants that she cut from Jessica's grave, oh dude, that is so fucked up. That is so fucked up. That is so wrong and evil on so many levels. Like, you were just told by this woman how much this girl, the baby that she lost means to her. Writes about her in a diary, dreams about it, fucking went out of her way to scatter her ashes in this flower bed, and that as long as the flowers grow, she had a fucking plaque with the fucking poem that she wrote to Jessica, to her unborn daughter and everything. And you go and you rip those plants out? Holy shit, man. That might be the most evil shit she does in this movie. Like, that is so fucked up. Like, I feel so bad for Kate in that moment. Like, so bad. And then, like, she, like, grabs her arm and stuff, and, like, breaking your own arm's gotta suck, huh? Like, That's another thing, like I say, with so much effort to go through with all this plan that she does, Esther, every time. Like, you don't need to break your own arm, don't need to kill people, don't have to avoid the dentist, don't have to go to school. Just become a prostitute. You get all the old dick you want. I don't know. I'm not going back to that subject, but fucking, it seems like common sense to me, if that's her whole end goal. All right, we got all into this already. And then with the car scene with Max, when Kate drops them off at school. Then Max is the only one left in the car, and Esther comes back, and Esther pulls the emergency brake off, and Max goes flying in the van down the hill, and cars are almost hitting her and stuff. Oh, I hate that scene, man. I hate that scene. I don't ever want to see anything bad happen to Max in this movie. Every time I watch it. And it's been years since I rewatched this. So with the new one coming out, I felt like this is the perfect time to watch it and discuss it on here. But it's been a while since I watched it. I remember it mostly, for the most part. But like, just some of the things that I forget and stuff, and then remember, like, when I rewatch it, I'm like, damn, man, like, fuck this bitch. And the whole wine bottle thing, she gives such a great performance, Vera Farmiga, during when they're sitting down with the psychiatrist and with John, and he pulls out the wine bottle that she dumped down the sink the night before, and they're telling her that she has to go to rehab, and that if she doesn't go in the next week, then I'm taking the kids and I'm leaving. And she's saying that she didn't drink it, and we know she didn't drink it. But then, like, when the psychiatrist says to her, like, listen, we want to help you, but we can't help if you're lying. And she's like, I'm not lying. I wanted to drink that. You have no fucking idea how bad I wanted to drink that, but I didn't. Just the way she delivers those lines, dude, is so fucking good. Like, so good. Like, it reminds me of... I don't even remember what it reminds me of. But, like, I've known a decent amount of addicts and alcoholics in my life. And... sober ones too, recovering ones, and I've seen a few people act exactly like that when being accused of slipping or relapsing, and they didn't. The same type of, like, just aggression, like honest aggression that she delivers those lines with is just so good. The way she delivers those lines and her whole performance in that whole scene is so fucking good. The whole movie, her performance is excellent, but like that scene in particular, those lines in particular, like really hit me every time I see this movie. Like, I wanted to drink that. You have no fucking idea how bad I wanted to drink that. Like, I really just hammer it home. Like, you have no fucking clue how drunk I wanted to get, but fucking I didn't do it. Like, and she didn't. And her being in that situation sucks, man. It's gotta suck so bad. And then when Esther reading Kate's diary to her, and then like even after she takes the diary away from Esther, she still memorized the rest of the paragraph to like recite back to her. Like, this girl is fucking insane, man. And then like burning to death has got to suck, right? I mean, obviously, but like being a kid and being trapped in a treehouse that's lit on fire and you can't get out when Daniel gets trapped up there by Esther, that's got to be fucking horrifying, man. Being an adult trapped in a place engulfed in flames has got to be the most terrifying thing ever, or one of. But being a fucking like 10, 11-year-old kid, I can't imagine, man. That's got to suck so bad. And then and the CGI fire, I mean, it looks pretty bad. It doesn't look good at all. But like, I mean, yeah, you got to use CGI. It's a kid. It's a young kid there you got. But I mean, come on, man. Show some fucking method acting. Show some balls, Daniel. Fucking, you're in a horror movie. Go all the way. Do a fire stunt. Have them light that shit ablaze and find your way down on your own. No direction. Like, come on, go all the way out. That's what I would do. If I was in a horror movie, I'd do whatever they want me to do. I'd be like, oh, no, do you want a stunt for this? I mean, no, I'm doing it. I got you. Don't worry. Whatever fucking things that are covered by insurances. And then like she goes to smash Daniel's face in, and Max pushes her and stops her, and just the look Max gives her, like no, like so awesome. And then they get to the hospital, and Esther smothers Daniel with the pillow, and they revive him afterwards, but she tries killing him again. And it's clever how she takes the blood pressure or heart rate clip and clips it on her finger. But even the exertion that she's giving out trying to smother him, her heart rate would go up too. Like, her heart rate would go up. So, I mean, it's not like flatlining, yeah, so it buys her a little time. But someone would probably still notice that, like, his heart rate's rising a decent amount, right? Like, I don't know, I'm not a doctor, so if you come here for medical advice, you will die. Like, absolutely, for sure. If you ever listen to anything I say on this channel related to medicine or being a doctor in movies or anything like that, and you listen to any theory I have, you will die if you take that as advice. So I'll disclaim that right now for the future of this channel and any past videos, all the 70-something past videos I've done. Don't ever take medical advice from me, because it's all coming from movies. So absolutely don't do that if you don't want to die. I love when when Kate runs back in the hospital towards Esther and sees her, and she's like, "Hi, mommy," and she's like, "Just what did you do to him, you bitch?" and smacks her right in the face. I crack up during that every single time. What did you do to him, you bitch? Just the way that the sound of her slapping her too is like fucking hard, man. And she's right in the middle of the hospital, hitting her kid. Like, she's fucked, man. And then we get her trying to seduce John when he's drunk, Esther, when it's just the two of them and Max is put to bed, and she comes down dressed all sexy-ish and stuff, and like keeps saying to "I love you, daddy," and kissing him, and I really love you, daddy, and he's drunk out of his mind, but still, just after that second "I love you, dad," "I really love you, dad," and I'm out. Like, I don't know what to say at that point. Like, I'd be like, go to your room. Like he says that eventually, but I'd say that immediately. Like, go to your room, like, now. Like, what the hell are you doing? And seeing my adoptive daughter dressed up like that, like heavy makeup, and like, get the fuck out of here. Like, get your ass upstairs, get dressed and go to bed, because I need to drink more after this. And then with him saying, when she says, "I love you, I thought you said you loved me," and him being like, "Oh, you're so confused." I'll never forget seeing this in the theater, when right after him saying that "you're so confused," then him saying to her saying to John that, like, "No one ever cares about what you think and like how you're feeling, and I just feel like you're alone in this." Then he starts breaking down, crying to her and stuff. Dude, the whole theater was cracking up. The whole theater was laughing hysterically. I thought it was so funny. It's just like, "I can't do this. It's so hard. I just don't know." Oh, it's so funny, man. How he starts breaking down to her. That's so funny. And then we get the whole reveal. Hold on, let me just plug this shit in quick before this dies. I'm not re-recording this. Then we get the whole reveal that she gets the call from the Thorn Institute, and the guy tells her that it's not really a little girl, and that her name is Lena Clammer, I think it is, Lena Clammer, and that she's 33 years old, and that she has a rare disease, like I mentioned earlier, and stuff, something with the pituitary gland, and it makes her like a dwarf, a proportionate dwarf, and she dresses up like a child trying to seduce the fathers and shit. So like I said, I don't know how with this first kill, unless it's not the family that they talk about in this movie, the one right before this, that there was a house fire, unless it was, this is the first kill movie is going to go way back to like her first kill, like her very first kill. Because if it is that kill from the last family, the one that the orphanage got Esther from after the fire, and then she went here, bullshit. Absolute bullshit. Because they show those pictures in her book. They show like fucking 4 or 5 old men, at least, older men. Who the fuck are they otherwise? Then his phone call to her saying that after she failed to seduce the husband, she killed him and the family. She tries to seduce John, fails, she kills John, and then tries to kill the rest of the family. So that's her MO. So that's not her first kill, because we see all those other pictures. So if they go with this movie down that route, that this is the family right before John and Kate's family, bullshit. And I'll instantly be brought out of the movie. Instantly. Because that's not what they imply here in this movie at all. And what we see. That's not what we can gather from the information that we're given and presented in this film. Like, it suggests otherwise. She's been doing this for a long time, and she's had many families that she's gone through over the years. So I don't know. I don't know how they're going to approach that. And like I said, it worries me that Bell is directing, especially after The Boy and Boy 2. Especially after Boy 2. It's really concerning to me that he's directing this movie. Like I said, hopefully the writers who wrote this movie, the original, have a good story and everything to tell. And then hopefully it won't matter and it'll all fall into place. But like I said, low expectations. But so after we get the reveal, then she kills John, she stabs the shit out of him. And at that point, run, Max, run! Get the fuck out of here. And then Kate gets home. She falls through the greenhouse onto Esther. That's hysterical. Fucking the same thing when I saw it in theaters. Everyone cracked up. Fucking like just her shooting up at the greenhouse glass and stuff, and then her falling down, and then she looks up and she's like, huh? And she just collapses onto her. So funny. Like, I laugh at some dumb shit, but that's funny as fuck. And then they have their whole fight on the ice. And the whole, like, last 25 minutes of this movie is suspenseful as shit. Like, it's very well done. Very tense, very suspenseful. Like, really cool stuff. Like, the whole Esther chasing Max and chasing Kate and stuff through the whole house stuff. But really cool. Then they're fighting on the ice. And now, it sucks. Now, it's cool how they brought that back around to the end of the movie and have it take place there after knowing that such a traumatic experience happened to, Max and Kate because of the ice. So like having them back on that frozen pond and stuff, now 2 traumatic events have happened to them by that pond. So they gotta fucking like move or some shit. And then they fall into the pond after Max tries to shoot. And that's so adorable of her trying to help and stuff. But like every time she picks that gun up, I'm like, oh, please don't hurt yourself. But it's cool to actually see fucking recoil in a movie. I mean, yeah, she's an 8-year-old shooting off a fucking gun, but like it knocks her back into the snow and shit. Like you never see recoil really when a gun's shot in movies. Like realistic recoil. Like you do from time to time, but like not often enough. So that was cool that they had that. And then Esther is trying to grab Kate's leg when she's coming out of the pool or the pond and stuff, the water, and tries one last time to, I love you, don't let me die, mommy. And so, I'm not your fucking mommy. And kicks her, and that's a gnarly neck break, man. Like when she kicks her in the neck and her neck just snaps back. I don't know if it's just from her, like us thinking she's a child the whole movie up until the last like 20 minutes that like we're still processing. So like it comes off as like because it's still in your mind she's a child. Maybe that's why it comes off like so vicious to me, but that's like a fucking vicious neck break. The cops, that's the watch, fun rewatch, and I cannot wait for Orphan First Kill, which I usually with. That way it's great, then I'm pleasantly surprised. But alright guys, Jeepers Creepers trilogy coming up next. Either sometime through the night or tomorrow morning. I'll have them up. Take care.